Welcome to Save As Ability, a podcast to educate and inform you about disability employment issues. My name is David D'Arcangelo, and I'm your disability policy expert. Hey everybody, welcome back for another episode of Save As Ability. We've been getting a great reaction. Please continue to help us keep great content flowing for you. Like, subscribe, share. And we've got a guest today, a great guest. Welcome in Idan. Idan, how are you today?
I'm very well. Very excited to meet you and speak here on the podcast.
Excellent. So Idan and I got connected. You know, he's in the technology space here, trying to provide technology solutions for people with disabilities, particularly mobility in this case. And I'd like to talk about the wayfinding. But before we get right into the wayfinding, Idan, tell us a little bit about your journey to people with disabilities and how, a little bit of background so our audience can set some context here.
Absolutely. So I'm Idan. I'm a co-founder and CEO at RightHear. We started about 7 years ago. And we started that with a lot of luck. I used to say on an accident, we didn't know like what we're doing, when we got into this domain of people with disabilities, accessibility. And I used to say by accident, but it's actually by luck because I love this industry. I love what we do. I love the people, and I love the impact that it creates. Basically, what RightHear does is turning public spaces into more accessible environments, especially for people who are blind or visually impaired, but for anyone else who has orientation challenges, including myself. I have a horrible orientation skills. I'm one of those friends who always get lost wherever you go. And I'm very familiar with the frustration of not knowing where you are and what is there, where to go. And we thought that if we'll be able to solve it for those that have even more severe challenges around this, like me, then ultimately we'll be able to solve it for everyone. So,
well, that's encouraging to hear. We've talked many times on this program about how various technologies over the years started out not necessarily for people with disabilities, but then ended up really helping people with disabilities. And we use the examples all the time, whether it's...
And vice versa, right?
And vice versa, too. Whether it's Alexander Graham Bell with the phone, whether it's elevators or escalators or automatic door openers, all these types of things were not necessarily devised specifically for people with disabilities, although they end up really being very assistive to people with disabilities. So now let's get into specifically your company, your product, and how you're helping to solve the challenges of wayfinding for people with blindness.
Yeah, so I can imagine that most of our listeners know that wherever you go in the country, I'm in Maryland, but wherever you go, right, you can find Braille signs. And you can find the Braille signs usually in elevators, but also in public restrooms, sometimes meeting rooms, and really wherever you go. And it doesn't matter if it's a small restaurant or if it's a big airport, hospital, museum, and everywhere in between. And this is obviously thanks to the ADA, and it's great that they're there. But I don't know how many of our listeners know that about 90% or more out of the blind community cannot read Braille. And
right, yeah, we've talked about that too. We produced, when I was Mass Commissioner of the Blind, a couple of different surveys there, and people were surprised to find out that only 7% of our users, of our consumers rather, used Braille regularly. So
exactly, right? So for the 7%, right, who do read Braille out of the blind community, finding the sign is a challenge by itself.
You've got to wayfind to find the sign, to get to it.
And here you go. And if that's not enough, in the past 4 years, if you're lucky, out of the 7% who can read it, and you've been lucky to find the sign, you do not necessarily want to touch the sign. Because, again, we all remember COVID, and it's a public surface. You don't necessarily want to touch it. And I can go on and on. So basically, what RightHear has came up with is an audio format of signage, talking signage system, if you will. And the way we do that in our case is a technology that is based on multiple technologies behind it. It was the system, but the primary one is Beacon's technology, it's Bluetooth technology.
Yes.
At the end of the day, it's an app. It's a free app. It's an anonymous app to our users, both Android and iPhone. There's little small devices like this I'm currently holding. It's in the size of a finger. Bluetooth devices that we stick on the wall. No drilling or no Wi-Fi needed or anything like that. And then there's the cloud dashboard, which allows us in the facility to control and manage all the audio descriptions that later on users will be able to hear. And what they hear are basically answers to three main questions. One is, where am I? you are the main entrance to this office space, and we're going to talk about offices probably soon. Secondly, what is here in this building? There are 5 floors, maybe the office is in the 4th floor, whatever that is, right? So where am I? What is here? There could be open hours if it's a restaurant, right? And thirdly is what's around me. No matter what the user is pointing around, let the user know what is there and what distance, right?
Got it. So really your beacons are meant to then work with an app on your phone to be able to, and that throws off a signal. And then when I'm on your app, I can find out where I am at that person at that place and time.
And you'll find it in your own language. Remember we talk about universal design? So
right.
This is not just for the blind or visually impaired. Even people with different language barriers, which is kind of all of us, will be able to hear where they are, what is there in their own language, in their own pace. Some of us might need to hear it slower than others or faster than others. It's also with text on the screen. So yeah, the idea is really to allow everyone to be independent wherever they go.
Great. So tell us a little bit about your journey. You mentioned it right at the top, how you started solving other solutions and now you ended up here in an accessibility space. Tell us a little bit about that journey.
Yeah. So, when you start a startup, where you kind of have an idea and you go with it, and then you see what's the market and the world tells you. And we were working on a completely different, idea. It was around shopping experience and retail and coupons and shopping malls. And we ran different pilots. That was over 7 years ago. And what we found, as my co-founder and myself, that we're working great together, and we have an exciting technology in hands, but that it takes forever just to find each other at the mall because I'm always getting lost and I have no idea where to go. And I was the problem. And I thought, you know what? Let's enough with that couponing, and that's kind of crowded already anyway. Maybe we can do something with my orientation challenges. And, again, we thought that if we'll be able to, solve it to those who have more severe challenges, we'll be able to solve it for everyone. So that's how we got into it. My grandfather at the time turned to be blind. That's also kind of pushed me into that direction. And we just fall in love. We fall in love with, with the mission and how helpful that is to a lot of people.
That's great. All right, as we begin to conclude here, tell us a little bit about how people can find the product, what it retails for, like all of that stuff to give people an idea. And by the way, give us the links. We'll put them in the description here so anybody watching on YouTube can go and click on those links to find your product.
Beautiful. So it's an app, right? It's a free app, both Android and iPhone, so you can find it in the app stores. It's called RightHear, RightHear, like hearing. So RightHear, you can actually hear where you are. So that's the idea behind this word. And also, it's a good reminder for us to hear and listen to our community. We have a growing community that, by the way, meets every week online. We have an online meetups on Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern. So you're welcome to join us. The app is completely free. Indoors, outdoors, underwater, out of space, wherever you are, it's completely free. And it supports 26 different languages. It's also completely anonymous. We're not going to ask your name, your email, your Facebook, whatever that is. So I do invite you all to download it. You can find more about it on our website, www.right-hear.com. And I'm always trying, talking about accessibility. I'm trying to be as accessible as I can. So my email is Idan, I-D-A-N, at right, R-I-G-H-T, -hear, AGAR.com.
All right. Well, that's great. So what do you have for usage right now? How many users on any given day or week or however you measure it?
We have thousands of users. We measure it by the monthly active users, and we have thousands of them every month and almost every week, I would say, but every month for sure, over a few thousands. The app gives a whole outdoor experience with GPS. So when you download the app, you can start using it wherever you are. You don't need to wait for locations in your area to be accessible with us. Although they are coming, and they're coming pretty quickly. More and more are joining us on a weekly basis now. Our U.S. office is here in Maryland, and we started that just 2 years ago. I can tell you, David, every week we're joining at least 1 or 2 new locations in the country.
That's great.
And that speeds up because again, the need is there. The regulations is there, like the requirement of effective communication.
Yeah, sure. The DOJ, we were just talking about that actually in another episode.
So I hope, David, that maybe in 2, 3, 4, whatever years, you'll invite me again, and we'll talk about.
We'll have even more users by then.
We'll have more users, more locations. That should become obvious.
Yes.
Like we should really raise the bar of expecting audio format signage wherever we go.
I love that, Idan. That's what we're doing here at Save Visibility. We're raising the bar on accessibility, and I appreciate you and your team and the work that you're doing to really improve access to opportunity, and these wayfinding things are so necessary and so important. So thank you for what you do.
My very pleasure, and thank you for the stage today.
All right, great. Well, everybody, that's another episode of Save Visibility. Again, please like, share, subscribe, comment, so we can keep great content coming for you. I'm fired up as usual. It's David D'Arcangelo, another episode of Save Visibility. I hope you have a great day. For more information about disability employment issues, please visit our website, disabilityemploymentsolutions.com. The Save As Ability podcast is available on Apple Podcast, Spotify, our YouTube channel at Disability Policy Expert, or wherever you stream your podcasts. Subscribe, stream, rate, and review our shows. Your ratings and reviews help our show reach new audiences. Produced by Pod Pro Entertainment. Save As Ability lives within a network of podcasts located at podproentertainment.com. #TheNewRadio. Again, my name is David D'Arcangelo, and I'm your disability policy expert. Until next time. Thank you. I hope you have a great day.